this? Introducing the original blood clot podcast, not players. Soothing Semantics. Special dedication all the way from New York. Boom! Yeah, man. SWOT Semantics. Yeah, me know. Boom! Soothing Semantics. Yeah, me know. Big ups to the man. Yeah. Soothing Semantics.
Welcome to the Soothing Semantics podcast with my doppelganger Cuban man. What's going on, Fernando?
You always call me Cuban.
Hey, Nando.
I've been called everything, dude.
Nando Cubano.
But for the record, I'm a beaner. I'm a wetback.
Come on, bro.
I'm Guatemalan.
Say such horrible things like that.
I'm
a pizza bagel, man. I am. That's what's up. See, and we still look alike. How do you like that?
I know.
Completely different jeans. I'm Levi Strauss. You are, is there a Spanish company for jeans?
I
Like
think
a Latin
so.
jean company?
I mean, most of that shit's made in Mexico anyways. Or Central America.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure there is. I don't know. But, I mean, yeah, they have, like, their own brands and stuff. Like, when I went back to Guatemala, 2018, well, they have beautiful malls, like huge. You wouldn't think.
I would never think Guatemala has beautiful malls. No, I would not. It's not something that comes to mind.
Some of the malls are better than the ones here. I was like,
like Aventura Mall, like
yeah,
nicer.
like nicer.
Really?
Nicer. There's one called Oakland Mall, and it's huge. It's like twice the size. The one in twice the size of like the Aventura one. And then there's another place that they built. It's called I forgot. It's like a smaller city. It's like a city within a city. It's like a small village, but the whole village it looks like ancient Greece or ancient Rome, and they have like the pillars and the white, like that kind of structure. And then there's like a giant statue of like this, I don't know what god it was. I think it was Poseidon, and he's like peeking through. It's like a giant head statue, but it looks like he's inside of the floor and he's like popping out. So you just see his head, his shoulders, part of his chest, and then like you see his leg over there popping out. It's awesome.
Damn.
Yeah.
I feel like in a sense maybe because the country is a poorer country in certain respects, they want to show that the country is not as poor as people might think, and it's like, okay, well, especially because I feel like the leaders have all the money, so
Right.
they can build this infrastructure.
That's part of it. Yeah. And another part is that then you have a lot of international people investing as well. Like there's a lot of Asians there, shit ton.
Really?
I mean, yeah, you have like a little Korean area, and it was crazy. Like there's some places that you see all Korean letters, Korean restaurants, and if you're not Korean, they won't let you in at a certain time of the day. It's yeah. I was like, what? Really? I was like, okay.
How is it allowed? They don't have any regular, like, there's no.
It's kind of. I mean, some of them are just like family business, like family owned. It's not like here, Yeah, so. But I had fun, man. It was beautiful. The city can be dangerous, but I didn't feel that like I was unsafe, But obviously I was always alert, looking everywhere. But my mom, my aunt, a lot of the older family, they were like, mijito, be careful. Like just very, mijo, hay que tener cuidado. And then they like, you have like the cool aunt. She's like, they're all just paranoid. Just
how many times you know how many times I was stabbed? You know how many times?
And not for nothing. Like they have every reason to be, because there's a lot of shit that goes, that crazy shit that happens, bad things. But it's great. You should check it out sometime, man.
I would love to.
After this,
I've heard incredible things about like Latin countries, the Spanish
man.
countries. I mixed the two, by the way. I'm terrible like that. I'm terrible.
You what?
I confuse sometimes like Latin, Spanish. You know what I mean?
Well,
no, I know the difference in region, but I'll just kind of like not thinking about it. I'll confuse,
Right. There's people, man, that they don't. They're when I told somebody, I was like, they're like, oh, so where are you from originally? I'm like, well, I'm from Guatemala. They're like, Guatemala? Part of Mexico is that? It's not their fault. They just
No, some people are really clueless, man. I'm not that clueless. Like, definitely not. But I definitely. They do claim that a lot of these countries are very dangerous. I've watched a lot of documentaries about it. Like, especially lately I've been watching the Brazilian favelas.
Oh,
And those are intense.
God,
yeah, those are intense.
And you know what makes me sad is a lot of these countries are so fucking beautiful. They have so much. They're very rich in culture and land and just natural beauty and all that violence and poverty, man. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Have you ever seen this movie called City of God?
No, what's it about?
Oh, classic Brazilian fucking favelas. Yeah, really good movie. You need to watch it.
Is it made? I mean, obviously it's made in Brazil. No. What I meant is it an American style movie or it's strictly Brazilian made?
All Brazilian.
Ah,
really dope. And it takes place like in the 70s, 60s, 70s era. So you kind of see like, I mean, there's kids.
When was it made though? When was it actually made?
It was made in, I think, the early 2000s, mid 2000s, or maybe late 90s.
I'll check it out for sure.
Really good. And dude, and it's based on true events. Like, there's kids, gangs of kids. I mean, 5, 6, 7-year-olds with guns and fucking AKs, and you run through there, man, they'll kill you. They'll take your shit. And it's not a stick up. Like, they'll take your shit and kill you. Like, it's just it's nuts. But
it's crazy that you can indoctrinate a kid like that. Like, you can actually teach a child to carry a weapon. Yeah. It happens in the Middle East too. It happens in other parts of the world.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I've seen. Well, no, I haven't seen with my own eyes, but I've heard a lot about that. Like, I have friends that like growing up in this area. One of my best friends growing. He's like, we call each other cousins because we've known each other for so long. He is half Israeli, half American. And he would tell me, like, when he would go visit over there, like, you'll see, like, younger kids, like, a lot of people are strapped, because you never know. And it's crazy.
Damn. Israelis actually like to travel a lot to these countries.
I know.
If it's very common to see Israelis in these Latin countries. They also love the Asian countries, Korea.
Oh yeah.
What's it called? Well, I don't know. Actually, not Korea really. Vietnam. Well, I wasn't talking about North Korea, obviously. but Vietnam, Laos, Thailand's a massive one. Like, Thailand's one of the countries a lot of them go to after the military. I did that. Yeah. And yeah, they're very big. They're very into travel in general. Israelis travel a lot. So
not only that, it's a good business.
It's a good business, huh?
No, but there's a lot of Israelis in well, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's like a small population in Guatemala too.
Really?
Yeah, there's a Jewish population. Yeah.
Sure. Oh, that's true. I was thinking like an Israeli population. No, yeah, there are Jews.
They came from like directly from Israel, and they stayed over there in Guatemala.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have business opportunities. Sometimes there's a reason to be there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're very into that. They're very open to adventure. They'll just randomly settle in a random place.
That's what I like about Israeli people, man. That they're fun. It's fun. They're very fun.
Yeah, for sure. People. Especially off the boat ones.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've met them, but they're very, very funny. They're very intense people, and a lot of them look Spanish, by the way.
Yeah. That's true.
I think so. I think a lot of people mix them up. I think there's a lot of Israelis in Miami in general.
Well, remember a lot. Okay, so there was a lot of Middle Eastern culture that went in Spain, and they basically took over for about like 800 years, especially like the Moors, more specifically. But a lot of the words, there's a lot of words and a lot of influence For example, we say, "Oh, I hope so." In Spanish, we say "Ojalá," which translates Allah, "Ojalá." So,
Well, Allah's not Hebrew.
well, no, but no. I know it's not Hebrew, but there's a heavy influence of that whole.
Middle Eastern thing.
Right, exactly. So they have a lot of the looks and the aesthetic as well.
I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily the look, because it's hot. I mean, it's a hot region. It makes sense that the people there are gonna be darker. I don't know if necessarily the look is particularly connected. I think all cultures, if you really think about it, especially for the last few hundred years, not even a few hundred, several thousands of years, people have been. I mean, conquest has been around for the longest time.
I mean, the Vikings.
Right, but especially now, especially in the past few, since
we were able to travel like that.
Since we were able to travel quickly, people are intermarrying, and there's so many interracial couples, and they share each other's cultures, values, food. That I feel like, in a sense, that most people are mutts. Like, most people are mixed at this point.
Yeah.
So there's still there are still countries, and there's still general populations that live in said country, but every country has a flavor of another.
Yeah.
Every single one has influence of another place,
right?
Which is a beautiful thing.
Look at Peru. Peru has a very massive Asian influence. I mean, one of their presidents, Fujimori, was Japanese descent.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and there's a style of cuisine called chaufa, which is like Chinese mixed with the Peruvian food. Is, oh my god, have you ever tried like real authentic? Oh, dude. Dude, that's the one good thing about, like, my pops fucking cooks. I mean, they've offered him, they're like, "Oh, Freddie, why don't you open a restaurant, man, you're so fucking good." And he's the type of guy that he would go to the restaurant and he'd go to the kitchen. He's just sitting there like,
he just walks
what
in.
Are you doing?
He just waltzes in.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Especially like if he's a regular. A lot of these places, they know him. They're like, Freddie, come on. Yeah. And he just goes in back and he's like, oh, no. Like, no,
he just slides all
talented.
of the stuff onto the floor. He goes, "All right, guys, we're gonna do it my way." No one knows who the hell this guy is. He just starts making his own dishes. He should, man. If he's that good, I mean.
I was thinking about having him do like a little Instagram, different dishes and shit like that. I gotta learn some shit from him, man. My mom's a great cook too, but she learned a lot of things from him too.
If he's that good, you can literally get a table. It sounds funny, but get a table, put a nice cloth on it, and just record.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Get like a little good camera. I have a decent one, but I gotta get one of these cameras.
These are solid cameras, right? For sure.
Yeah,
a little over 200 a piece. You get the stands; they're great. Yeah.
How much?
With the stands, it was probably like 250, 260.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about going to Mars, man?
I'm game. I'm game.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Yeah. What is it, like the third of the
only
gravity?
thing that gets kind of lame is the lack of sunlight. Like, I'm gonna miss the sun a little bit.
Yeah. Oh,
how does that work?
That's it. That's all I get. No trees, animals.
But you know what, man? I'll tell you, the chances of us, in my opinion, the chances of you and I seeing Mars during our lifetime is. There's no chance.
No,
there's no
crazy.
Shot.
You're crazy.
You think there is?
Yeah,
no,
for
I don't.
sure. I mean, we'll be up there.
Possible?
We'll be like 50. No, we'll be like 60, 70.
Is it possible? Definitely, because I said in another episode I did, technology compounds. So the faster technology we build on technology,
right. Well,
the faster it goes.
Right. The curve has gone up crazy. Exactly. But we did kind of hit a wall because of well, see, every time war breaks out.
Well, because of Trump, we hit the wall. So.
And not only that, but also
you didn't like my joke, did you?
I see what you did there. What was it, Pee-wee? He said the word. What was it? Every time we say the word. There was like a magical word. If you say the word in the show, everybody goes crazy. All the little things come out. Like, "Ah!"
Yeah.
But no, we hit a. So we're getting all our technology is going smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And we got to the point to where our microchip processors are so small that they're having problems transmitting the electrons through.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you get to that size, the rules are different. The quantum realm is completely different. There are different rules. It doesn't really make sense. So now they're trying to figure out what materials to use to make smaller and more efficient technology. And I think they figured something out. Something with I don't remember what it was, but it's a type of tungsten? No, not tungsten.
Tungsten.
Tungsten. Mr. Tungsten. No.
Mr. Tungsten, it's so nice of you to join us for dinner, Mr. Tungsten.
What was the other one you did? Hello, Mr. Tungsten.
Oh, Mr. Tungsten, so wonderful of you to join us for dinner. We're having asparagus and a sprinkle of paprika and a little bit of tomato.
What do you say, old chap?
Oh, well, according to certain calculations, Mr. Tungsten, I don't think you'll be spending the Easter holiday with us today.
Damn, dude, that's pretty fucking good.
Thank you very much.
Why do you try?
Mr. Tungsten.
Can you imagine living back then, dude? Oh God, no soap, no brushing your teeth.
You don't think they had soap? I'm pretty sure they had soap.
I mean, I'm talking about like fucking.
Well, British people don't have teeth, so it's not really. You know what I mean? It's easier.
Do you like my teeth? Do you like my teeth? You know, there's a time in. Have you noticed that, like, when you look at 1950s videos or whatever shows, they had like this different accent. They called it the mid-Atlantic accent or something like that. But they would kind of have like this little British sound to it.
That's what they all do. It's kind of like it's a default accent. Like anything old automatically gets a sort of British
kind of
thing because American accents are not old enough.
Right.
You know, so if you're portraying like a 1400s movie, you can't have a guy being like, "Hey man, what's going on?" It just doesn't it doesn't work.
I saw this movie the other day with he was in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Mm-hmm.
He's the old guy. He plays one of the security guards for one of the mobsters. Old guy, bald. He's fucking.
I definitely know who you're talking
like
about, but I can't put a face to
Okay,
it.
so he was in like a medieval movie, and he was supposed to be the French king, but he was talking like this, and it was just so like I was like, I mean, he's a great actor. I love him. It was.
Oh, that gives me so much to work with. You just opened up a topic. You opened up Pandora's box right now, dude. It irks me, man. When a good producer, or supposedly a good producer, will make a movie where the person's supposed to have a certain accent or a certain look, and it completely they screw it up. Like they actually have done this a few times with movies with Israelis. They have a movie called Zohan with Adam Sandler, and I think he did a fantastic job because
that was good. His
accent wasn't actually spot on, but I think that was the point of it. I think the point of it was to sound kind of. They did a very good job with it. Put it that way. They had amazing stereotypes. They killed it with the stereotypes. They did the movie. I died from the movie the first couple times I watched it. A hilarious movie. But they also had real Israelis in it, so it worked.
Right.
They had actual Israelis in the movie, and then they had Arabs too and all that, so it was really funny. But sometimes they'll do movies, like old movies about like parts of Israeli history, and the one thing that gets me is that they'll only have European Jews as Israelis, so you just see a bunch of white people,
white looking, and it's not really,
and it's not inaccurate because there are European
a
Jews.
lot, but not historically, like not the original, right?
It's not even necessarily historically, but just in the country in itself, if you go to the country, you'll see a mixture of people of color and different ethnicities and things like that. But you'll generally see a certain type. You'll see a dark Middle Eastern looking person.
Right.
That's what you'll generally see if you go around the streets. So the media does this a lot to paint Israel in a bad light. Not interested in getting into a political discussion, but I like when a show is authentic. I like when a movie's authentic. I think everyone likes that, but
because it's more immersive. It's like
the problem is that
you're going through time. You're like, wow, this is what it must have been like.
Yeah, especially when they do it for like, what was it? The Ten Commandments. You know that movie? And they make Moses white. There was no chance he was white. Like, there was no chance. Jesus wasn't white either.
No.
And everyone has these speculations. I'm just going to lay down the law here. Jesus, Moses, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, they were all most likely, I didn't meet them, but most likely very dark skinned.
Yeah.
Very dark. Like, from, either brown or very olive toned. They lived in the Middle East. They were in Egypt. They were in the desert. They were in other places. Whatever the case was, there's no debate. When they were alive, they were Middle Eastern men. They were dark skinned. Most likely.
And there's a heavy African root as well.
For sure.
The whole the tribe of Judah, that's where Rastafarian comes from. That same circle, the 12 lions of Judah.
It's very hard with that, by the way. I'm not discrediting that. It could be that some of them were even black or on the verge of black skin, because it is in that region. And it's funny that every culture kind of ties themselves to Jews in a way, and it's like we're all humans are in a way tied up. Like,
yeah, it all came from one.
Yeah, so like that whole argument of like, there's a group called the Black Hebrew Israelites that claim they're the real Jews, and like everyone else isn't Jewish.
I've heard about that.
And I don't care. I mean, say whatever the hell you want, but everyone wants to be a certain thing. It's like we're all people at the end of the day. Call yourself whatever the hell you want. Like,
right.
I guess
I feel like that too. It's like like, who was the first? Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It really doesn't matter who was the first. You know what's funny? I saw this documentary the other day, and it was about the original inhabitants of Japan, and they actually look Caucasian, but they're wearing all this like Japanese stuff, like Japanese clothes, and there's still a lot of them there today, and they say that they must have gotten in very, very ancient times. They must have traveled from the upper regions of Russia down through Mongolia, and then they kind of went down that way. But it's crazy. I mean, almost blonde hair, blue eyes, and speaking like it wasn't exactly Japanese, but it was like a more primitive version of it. And I was like, what? I had no idea. It's on YouTube. I was
That's
like,
fascinating.
Shit. Yeah, it is.
Well, the truth is, now that you're mentioning Mongolians, I know when I lived in Brooklyn, I lived in a neighborhood where there were a lot of people from these countries, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Dagestan, Georgia, places like that. Those, I don't know if Georgia specifically, the
country Georgia,
Caucasus, they're considered actual Caucasians,
right.
And it's kind of Georgia, I don't think really fits into that category, but some of the countries I listed beforehand, they are a mixture of Russian and Asian, a little bit of Persian as well. I don't know actually if those, I do know that Dagestan, Azerbaijan, I think.
Wouldn't they be considered Eurasian?
They're considered actually. I know there's a Jewish group called. I don't know if it's strictly Jewish. I know they're called Gruzini or Kafkazi, and it's very few people know of this ethnic group, but they're initially Persian. At least the Jews of this region are, and they, if I'm not mistaken, were originally from Persia, and then were either forced out. I have to really look into more of the history of it, but they then settled in a country called Azerbaijan, or maybe Azerbaijan. I feel like I really don't know enough about this. I have a very close friend that's his parents are from Baku in this country. Oh, okay. They have very, very rich culture. Like, they have a dance called the Lezginka, and it's very cool. It's almost like a warrior dance.
Yeah.
It's very cool. I'll show it to you. I'm going to post it. I'm going to throw this in there, a little clip right here so you guys can see it. And here, I'll show it to you right now. Let me get the phone. Let me get the phone, baby. Let me get the phone. Yeah. Let me get the phone. Let me get the phone. Let me get the phone. Phone. Let me get the phone.
Fucking $1 million hit right there.
Yeah.
All you need is a
Let me get the phone. Phone. Let me get the phone. Okay. So, this is...
Holy shit.
Very cool. It's very cool. They're very nimble,
like
very agile.
breaking mixed with
Yeah,
ballet and wow.
It's very cool. It's a strong dance. You'll
How
see
does
how
he
they
not get dizzy?
they practice, man. They do it since they're kids. Look at the leg work though. Look at the leg work though. They spin.
Fuck.
And they do it with the women. It's like it's
She's just like, I can't compete.
yeah. No, no. Actually, some of the there are women who really know how to do it, dude.
Ooh.
And they'll do it like in a circle at weddings, at ceremonies, and
Holy
see that?
shit.
It's very cool.
Wow. What country is this?
There's a few countries that do this.
That do it. Okay, so it's like a cultural-
Dagestan, I think Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Chechnya too, and then this country Azerbaijan. There's like maybe 4 or 5 countries who do this dance. You see, it's very cool. And then some of them wear this. Some of these countries wear this like kind of like this what looks like a warrior outfit. It's like this gown, like this red gown, and they have like this hat, and some of them will have like swords in their on them, and they'll just do like this dance. It's like this flying dance, and it's very majestic. Like I'm kind of envious. Like it's a dance I kind of wish I knew how to do, but I feel like I'm culturally appropriating it because I have nothing to do with it. But it's cool. My friend taught me like two moves. I still know how to do them.
That's awesome.
And what's cool
Good
about
exercise,
this?
bro.
Yeah, dude. I'm fascinated by this culture because it's one of those cultures that most of the world doesn't know about, and these countries that I mentioned are they're very tough countries. They're very into martial arts. They're humble countries. They're not particularly rich countries. They're not big on the map. Many people don't even know they exist, but the people they seem very resilient, very strong people. Physically and mentally, and one of the best fighters in the UFC right now is from Dagestan, Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Oh, that's the guy you were telling me.
Dude is
earlier.
an animal, absolute animal, and there's a lot, and he has, due to he's like 28-0. He hasn't lost a fight in his professional career. I don't think he ever will. I think the guy's unstoppable. I think he's unstoppable because he is ridiculously disciplined and has no distractions. He's a devout Muslim. A very humble guy, extremely humble, peaceful person.
That's awesome.
He's the kind of guy that he's an animal, but he's a contained animal. He's a disciplined animal.
Right.
He's a gentleman, but he'll rip your head off and eat it, like straight up. So
don't fuck with him.
No. So the reason why I don't think anyone else can beat him in the UFC is because the other guys have distractions. They have women as a distraction. They have weed, and some of them smoke weed and it helps them. But he, from what I understand, does not do anything as far as like these substances. He fights, he prays, he spends time with family, he donates money, whatever he does, it's almost all of it is just disciplinary action.
That's awesome.
And
I love people like that who give back, like they donate to charities and things like that. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, no, I really respect him. Like, he's Muslim, I'm Jewish. And I see how he really has a closeness to God. He's a very spiritual person, and he's a guy. He's a very good role model. He's a good role model for his people. He's a good role model for people in general. And I really respect the person that he is.
Nice, man.
But so that I think he also has helped put his country on the map. And
Oh, for sure. When
and-
somebody like that comes on, and
Yeah,
where
so-
the fuck is this guy from?
yeah, and now there's a lot of fighters that come out of that country, and now they're being catapulted into the international fighting community.
So you can say that he kind of opened that door
Yeah.
for everyone.
Oh, he kicked it open, dude.
Yeah.
He ran into it. I mean, now the door's flung open, and Dagestanis are getting on the world stage of fighting. They're incredible fighters. They really are. So they have him to thank for that, and it's going to change the dynamic of MMA as we know it. So
That's
it's
awesome.
very cool. So that's why I find that culture to be very cool. But in general, there's so many beautiful cultures, there's so many beautiful foods. It's a shame that everyone's so shitty to each other.
No, man.
But
we were talking about this earlier. It's like, when is it gonna stop? You said you don't think it's gonna stop. I don't know.
as far as violence, like
yeah, like war and
it's always gonna exist, man. I think it'll lessen.
It'll lessen for sure, or the way that we fight is gonna change.
What it already
You know,
has.
Well, yeah, I mean, but I think it's gonna change even more. I mean, now we're going into space. That's the new frontier. So now the weapons have to kind of be like that. They're thinking of like creating some kind of like biomechanical type suit to be able to maneuver in space, but then that's crazy, man, because then it's like we're taking the same barbaric shit out into space, and I feel like it's gonna end up there's a good show called The Expanse. It's on Amazon.
Never heard of it.
It's fucking awesome, but it's like 500 years in the future. We've basically colonized all the way up to Jupiter, and the Martians. So Earth they colonized Mars, and after like 200 years they became their own power. They became their own superpower, and then they became like the new technologically advanced super war kind of race. So they have like Marines, Martian Marines and shit like that, and you have Earth, and then the people from Mars, the Martians, started sending people to mine the asteroid fields, and the people had to live out there. So then they became their own thing. So now you have 3 different nations, I guess, space nations, right? You have the people, the Belters, they're called the Belters, and they have their own language, like their own Creole, which is like a mix of, it sounds kind of like Australian-ish with some French words, some Spanish. It's really cool. It's a really cool show. But, it shows you, it's like, humans fighting over resources.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do think that at one point we are going to make contact with the advanced race. I think they're going to be like, oh, guys, you can't bring this shit over here. Like, you can't.
Right? Imagine having a war with actual extraterrestrial beings.
They'd fucking level us out, bro.
Oh, if they...
I don't even think they would. They'd be like, aw. Oh, look, it's so cute.
You never know, though. Like, there's so many speculations that there's a life form out there that's so much more advanced than we are, and who knows it's possible? Because there's a lot of claims. How do you know that?
I've seen. People. It's hard to say because whenever somebody says that, well, really, you've seen him. Okay, so you fucking ET and phone home. But okay, I'll tell you my experience. Okay, I was 12. Me and my mom, we were driving, and this is actually not too far from here. This is around 163rd. Okay, and we're coming up to a traffic light, and my mom was like, "What the hell's going on here?" And people were getting out of their cars. It was a green light. People are getting out, and they're pointing up to the sky, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "What the fuck?" And I see this like. It looked like a red line, horizontal. But the thing is that it started fucking changing shape like this. It started going small, big, small, and then it started turning. And I was 12, so this is like 2000, or not even like 99 or 2000 or something like that. And it started changing colors, and then it started changing shape. So I know for a fact back then there was no drone. Like, we didn't have those drones. And not only that, a drone stays like this. It can't turn and flip like that because of the propellers, I mean, Was it alien? I don't know, but it was definitely unidentified. It could have been some kind of secret fucking military project, but then again, what happened after is what made me think, oh shit, like, so when it started doing that, all of a sudden it became really small. It turned into a ball, and it changed into like a golden color, and it made like this bright light, and then all of a sudden it just fast as fuck, boom. I mean, almost it left so fast that you can kind of see like a phantom image of it, like it just boom. Then what happened after was there was 4 helicopters, all black, unmarked, with the fucking missile launchers on the side, and they're fucking, and then 4 I don't know what they were, but they're fighter jets, and they're like going towards whatever the fuck it was. That's when we were like, holy shit. And
You really saw this?
Yeah, man. Me and my mom. My mom was, she was like, "Ay, Dios mío." Yeah, she's, super devout Catholic.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the only time. I saw something too other times
I've
after.
never seen any of this, man.
My dad had an experience in Peru, and he actually made a report with there's a group called MUFON, which they do, like, they investigate these things and then they put them out and they kind of like put it out for the public. But he saw something that was he said it was about the size of maybe 4 football fields in front of him, and it had 4 orange lights, and this little, I guess you could say like a probe came down, and it was like a different color, very small though, and it was like moving around, like kind of checking the area, and it was over a lake. And the weird thing is that he was like, there was no reflection of the lights, so, and there was no noise at all. So the little thing is moving around, fucking checking the area out, and then it went back in, and then just it went turned, and then boom, gone, like that, like just doof. And there's a lot of speculation. I mean, there's a lot of different theories. The one theory that I kind of, I'm like, okay, that could make sense, is that they are us, but way from a distant future. And they're coming back to either see something, maybe try to fix something, or prevent something from happening. I don't know.
That would be insane.
Because if you think about it, I mean, when you look telescopes, like any picture that we take of space, we're looking back in time, right? So it could be possible
How
that...
do you figure we're looking back in time? In what sense?
Well, that's... The light takes thousands of years to reach us. So that's, but yeah, man, I mean, there's just so many different theories. I mean, the Mayans, dude, they just found something not too long ago where it's a fucking statue, and it's an alien head. It's literally an alien head, like the big fucking bulbous eyes, and then on top it had a little bit of Mayan hieroglyphs, and then on the other they had like this other thing. It's like a small little square, and it shows a fucking flying saucer with a guy inside of it, and there's another flying saucer here, and it's literally like the classical saucer shape bell with the little boom, and picking people up, shit like that. It's crazy. So I know there's some kind of connection. Something's going on.
Could be. For me, I always kind of have that doubtful feeling, like, oh, maybe it's just a bunch of bogus, but it's very possible. The fact that things today exist, people don't realize it. They don't think about it. The fact that we have a phone that can do what it does, the fact that we have planes that do what they do. If you were to go back a few thousand years,
this would have been
even 100, 150 years ago, and you were to show people the technology that exists now, they would think that is alien stuff.
Yeah.
They would be like, how
fucking have a heart
is this
attack.
doing this? They would think about it. Think of
say
what
it's
we can
magic.
do. It does seem like magic.
It'd be like, you're a witch.
But
burn the witch.
It seems like that. Think about the fact that you can use waves. You can use waves without even plugs, electricity. Electric currents can do the things that we need with perfect clarity, perfect precision.
Yeah.
It's so incredible. And if a person doesn't know anybody, you'd be like, how is that possible? So if you think into the future, a massive ship, dropping down with lights that can just fly in an instant. Think about what fighter jets do.
Yeah.
We know about fighter jets. We've seen them on the internet.
Right, so we have the language to talk about it because we have the technology.
Right,
we can
but
relate.
think about
so imagine an
being in
ancient
one.
person
Yeah.
seeing something like that. And this is, I was going to bring that up, is a lot of the
equivalent.
folklore.
How's it different?
The folklore from back then and a lot of the biblical scriptures or whatever. Imagine you're a person from that time. You've never seen a fucking airplane. How would you describe it? So a lot of people, the fire serpent of the sky or the bird of fire because it made a lot of noise.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that they had a lot. They've been in our history. We just didn't know it. Because they were describing it as these whatever was available to them, language wise. I don't know, man. I think if one comes down, I'd be like, yo, dude, show me around.
Yeah, right.
What's up, bro? You got space weed? What's going on?
Space weed? That's great. It'd be cool as hell. Imagine imagine there are millions of other planets with life.
There are. Well,
imagine that. Imagine
possible.
and there's just
I mean, they keep finding hundreds or thousands of exoplanets every other day because we're one in our galaxy. We have about 300 billion stars. So then every other galaxy has about 300 billion stars, and then there's about 300 billion galaxies. So there's something.
There's a limit to the galaxies. It's probably infinite. I don't think there's.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
think it's finite.
No, it's not. But that's what we've counted so far.
Right.
An estimate, because you can't count. I mean,
It
holy
is
shit.
such a
It's
mind
massive.
fuck.
It
There's
is.
literally
It
an
is.
infinite amount of space,
You're so small.
and we're in this little tiny bulb, and there's just this little floating thing, and there's a massive. There's no word to describe how big it's crazy though. It's so incredible.
It is, man.
And we are just doing it, and this is something that's been said often, but it's so incredible, dude.
Yeah.
So incredible.
There's stars that are 200 million times the size of our sun.
Really
200 million times. There's one
200
called
million times
Antares. Huge. And I think there's even more bigger than that.
200 million times the size.
That big.
200 million times the size.
It's like saying an atom compared to the sun. Like that. Or an atom compared to our planet. Like that kind of level of, it's crazy.
Wow, dude.
It is. I would love though, man, to be able to just visit them and kind of, or like different planets and just catalog, pictures and samples
God,
of life
it's
or
a
whatever.
dream.
Maybe
Dream.
do a DJ mix out there somewhere.
Just quiet. It's just complete quiet. Just hear the echo go on for like years.
Eons.
And like 20 years later, the same sound is still going.
Some space reggae.
Be cool as hell.
Some snake jazz. Did you see that
Snake
episode?
jazz?
Rick and Morty.
I don't watch Rick and Morty.
Oh my god.
That's-
Do yourself a favor.
all right, I'll check it out.
Do yourself a fucking favor.
I'll check it out. What's the time, bro? What's the time?
It's gotten there. 1:38.
Got you.
Got a couple. So when was the last time you went back to Israel?
I went a couple of years back for my commander's wedding.
Nice.
It was
How long did you serve?
a year and a half.
Dope.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
That was the whole experience.
Yeah.
It was definitely one of the best things I've ever done.
Mm. Especially
100%.
that discipline, man. That
Yeah.
training, the discipline. And not only that, you forge like this brotherhood. You know?
Oh, definitely. I loved my friends there. Love them. I don't keep in touch with a lot of them. I'm in touch with my commander still. Awesome guy. And I'm still friends with some of my American buddies that moved there
Mhm.
afterwards. Overall, I loved it. It was a great kick in the ass. But it molded me into who I am. It really gave me a much larger sense of identity. And I think everyone should be a part of doing something that's doing something that's larger than themselves.
Right.
And I think even if you're not doing that forever, even if you aren't doing that for the long term, at least to experience that at some point in your life is a very beneficial and whole feeling. It gives you that feeling of wholeness.
Right.
And yeah, I know that there are people that are going to be listening to this that don't support Israel or
don't agree.
And that's perfectly fine. They're welcome.
Everybody's
You
free
guys
to,
are welcome to contact me and we can talk about it. But my goal here is not to get political. I did the experience. You can welcome to disagree. I don't want this podcast to be a very political thing.
No. See, I wanted to do something similar. I mean, it's not similar, but I mean similar in reference of the discipline. So I used to be a huge kung fu head. I practiced kung fu when I was younger. I fucking fell in love with it. Ever since, you're a child, you see Bruce Lee moving, you're like, oh shit. But
what does he say? Be fluid like water. What does he say? He goes something like water. You got to know this, man.
You must. What does he say? He goes,
oh, this is embarrassing.
When you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. Put water into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. And he says,
like water, my friend.
Yeah,
something
he
like
goes,
that.
now water can flow or it can crash.
Right,
and I love when he does it with his hand. It can crash. Be water, my friend. Yeah, he's
so good.
He was fucking genius, man.
So good.
He's a revolutionary.
I love people like that they have this zen, they have like charm, zen power.
Yeah,
but at the same
they're
time,
revolutionary. They changed the whole dynamic. He created a whole new style by grabbing different ones and boom, it became something else. And that's why I really wanted to go to China and practice in the temples of... I wanted to visit the Shaolin Monastery, but one that really attracted me is the Wudang Temple, which is where they take the basis of Wu-Tang. See, Wu-Tang is the American given name, but it's actually Wudang. And Wudang, they are Taoists. So they believe the yin and yang, the perfect harmony, the balance, the way. It's called the way. And then the Shaolin are the Buddhist, And I wanted
the monks, you mean?
Yeah, the Shaolin monks and the Wudang monks are, they're fucking awesome.
They're so disciplined. There's a TED Talk I want to show you. There's a TED Talk
by the Shaolin Master? Yeah. Sick.
More than anything I got from it was the conversation. It was so serene.
Right, hit the way he talked.
Yeah, he's so... Yeah, dude, everything was so smooth. All the comments were talking about how his energy was so... It was so like... strong. It was so structured. Everything about him, the way he walked, the way he stood, the way he sat, the way he spoke.
The way he spoke, the way he even looked at the people, his hand, his gestures, and he
was so at peace. He was so at peace with himself. I love that. I think that's so important to figure out where you want to go, be that person, and then you own it, bro. I feel like one of those drag queens. Own it, baby.
Do it.
Stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Own it. Just do it. Why are you not? Why are you not doing it? Like, holy shit. Like, when are you wasting your time? Fernando. Hey, Fernando, what are you doing?
I do $5 rent jobs. Cincinnati bow ties. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
I don't know.
Rusty trombone.
Rusty trombone. Giving a couple of those in your day, Fernando?
Oh, if only.
Fernando.
Dude, ever since fucking kindergarten, dude. What's your name? Fernando. Oh, like the ABBA song. Fernando. Oh, dude, no. So when I hear that song, Fernando, I'm like, oh god. Kind of gives me a sick feeling.
Dude, it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah,
it's been absolutely dope doing the episode with you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, man. Big ups each and every time. Each and every blood-clad time. Soothing Semantics, man. little extra
So
there.
good. So good. You're a talented man, dude. You're a talented man.
We got to talk next time about how I became a fluid patois speaker. It's an interesting story.
I'm on it. We'll talk. We have more opportunities.
Let's do it.
Tune in to the next Soothing Semantics episode. This has been your host, Rafi Pinsky, and special guest, Fernando.
Raúl Pastor. Fernando Raúl Pastor Andreu Larrabe. But just Fernando.
That's it. That's all it is. All right, bro. Until next time, folks.
Cheers. Cheers, man.